Hello and welcome aboard Shutter Speed, a Beneteau 42 S7 96 model built by Beneteau in Marion, South Carolina. We're out sailing today on the Mississippi Sound. And while I was out, I thought I would give you a deck tour of this wonderful vessel. I've owned her for almost 4 years, approximately 3.5 years. She's comfortable to sail, she's easy to sail. She was built for racing and cruising. She was built to have a crew for the racing. I cruise a lot by myself. I'm a single-handed sailor for the most part, and I enjoy sailing the Mississippi Sound, which is where we are today. I thought I would give you a deck tour of this vessel, give you an idea of what she's all about. As you can see, here's the helm. Off to the left is the GPS, which basically electronically controls a lot of different aspects of the vessel. On the GPS, you've got the speed over ground, you got the apparent wind speed, you've got, of course, the latitude and longitude of where we are. You got the depth of the water here, which is under the keel, which is add another 6 feet to that approximately, and of course the time of day. And if you see, this is us here. We're on the chart here in the Mississippi Sound. This area you see here is the Pascagoula ship channel. This goes on up to an area called Pascagoula. And then of course the other part of the channel winds off and goes down to the city docks and the shipyard and so forth. Also located on this side of the vessel is the control for the transmission and the throttle on the 50 horsepower Perkins diesel engine. If you notice, she's in reverse now, and the reason for that is this boat has a 3-blade, what they call a feathering prop. When you're sailing and you put the transmission in reverse, the blades on the propeller actually turn and become basically transparent into the water, so there's no drag or extremely less drag. It helps the sailing performance of the vessel. Also down here is one extension of the VHF radio. It comes in handy when you're back here. If you need to talk to another vessel, you certainly have that option. Also down in this area are the two 30-amp shore power connectors for the boat when she's at the dock. That'll run the air conditioning and so forth and so on. As I pan around, of course, there's the wheel. You see the traveler system, which is a Harken traveler with all of the necessary apparatus, the blocks and pulleys to make all of that work. That it comes in handy especially when you're racing, because tweaking that, traveling up and down and so forth, and bringing in the main sheet or loosening it helps the performance of the vessel. Also back here on the other side, on the port side of the vessel in the cockpit, are the instruments for the 50 horsepower Perkins engine. Also are more slave displays that I can adjust to display various information that I need. Below the instrument panel is a manual bilge pump, and it's amazing how much water you could pump if you're scared. So which fortunately hasn't happened to me. In this particular locker are two propane tanks. One is hooked up into the system, the other is a spare. They hold approximately, I want to say, about 7 or 8 pounds of propane. They last a long time is what I probably should say. Also located back here is a seat on either side. These are excellent seats for the person who's never sailed or hasn't been that much, and you can sit here and you can see all the action going on the vessel. We also have a Magma propane grill. She's covered. This is a backstay adjuster. It either relieves or puts tension on the rig, bends the mast, for example. It all has something to do with the performance of sailing. This boat also comes equipped with a swim platform. It's a retractable platform that lays down. It opens up, lays down, has a shower handle and so forth. You can rinse off back there. And a ladder is also part of it. It's great for swimming off the back of the boat, getting on and off. But the really good thing about this swim platform is it's about the same height as an inflatable dinghy, and it's excellent for getting on and off the boat from a dinghy. Also, I have my motor mount for my 15 horsepower Mercury that goes with my dinghy. And what's not on here today, rarely put it on unless I'm on a trip, is the hoist mechanism that can hoist that 70-pound motor on and off the boat or on and off the dinghy. So as I pan forward, You see this one, this is a secondary winch the primary winches are forward, and then there's 2 winches, and these are all self-tailing, by the way. These winches by the companionway on the cabin top are used to adjust various lines while you're sailing. Can do a multitude of things. That particular winch on the left side, or on the port side, is electric, and that comes in handy when you've got some loads to winch. Now, as you can see, the red line's wrapped around the starboard primary winch. It's controlling the head sail. If I ease out over this way, you can see the line going down to the foot block and up forward through the lead, the jib lead, and of course hooked to the sail. Today I have the jib lead blocks, the adjuster, tied to this winch, and of course the other side I can do that as well. And then this is a good view of the main sheet, the cleat, or the locking mechanism to hold it, which is in there today I'm using. Of course you can see the blocks going up to the back of the boom. As you look forward, you see the 2 instruments over the companionway. Again, the one on the right is a slave. I can adjust it to where I need it, or to which display I want to display. And then of course the other instrument is the direction of the wind and the wind speed. It's an apparent wind speed. Again, here's the secondary and the primary winch. We'll take a little scroll forward. Of course you can see the jib block and the accompanying lines that make the adjustments. As we walk forward, you can see there's handholds, and of course the lifelines that help keep you safely on board. When I'm under sail, I do not open any of the hatches because the lines can catch on them and rip them off, and that's the end of the hatch. Going forward, as you can see, of course, the bow pulpit. That's a Bruce anchor. I've come to love Bruce anchors for this area because of their great holding ability when in sand and mud. They work absolutely wonderfully. This is roller furling. This is a Harkins roller furler for the head sail. The sail just simply rolls up when you're ready to put it away. You can scroll back and see the vessel under sail. She's controlling herself. It's a beautiful day. There's not a lot of wind, but it's a nice, pleasant ride. It's that kind of day that you want to bring somebody who's never sailed before, so you can give them a real thrill and a nice, very pleasant ride. Down in this locker is an anchor windlass, and of course anchor chain and line. There's probably about 300 feet of combined line and anchor chain. Also, I keep a bucket here with a line where I can scoop up some water if I'm bringing mud aboard while I'm lifting the anchor. There's foot controls for the electric windlass. Again, it works absolutely marvelous. It comes in handy. That's a heavy anchor, and when you're by yourself and you have to hoist the anchor, you're thankful you have it. This boat also has 3 spinnakers, 3 or 4 spinnakers with it. That's a spinnaker pole. A spinnaker is a sail that's used when you're sailing downwind, and you roll up the head sail and you deploy the spinnaker. The spinnakers on this vessel are flown like in any other sailing vessel. They're flown when you're off the wind or headed downwind, and of course you need the pole to hold it out. You can see that on the jib, the red line is tight or in now. That's controlling the sail. We're on a port tack. The green line is loose. If we were to tack, they would be opposite. You're probably getting some wind noise out here. There's a little bit of a breeze. These are all the various lines and so forth. There's spinnaker halyards and things of that nature for different functions, for different kinds of sailing. As you can see, one of the beauties of this boat is the wide and comfortable flat decks. Good place to sit down and relax and enjoy the ride. This is called a boom vane for those of you who don't do any sailing or not familiar with sailboats. This block and tackle you see here, that's a Cunningham. That's used when it's deployed or hooked to the sail to tighten up the leading edge of that sail to make it for various sail trim opportunities and tuning and so forth. This boat has rod rigging. I don't know if you can see it, but instead of wire rigging, it has rod rigging, which I'm thankful for. It's much stronger and much more durable than the cable. Well, that pretty much concludes the tour of shutter speed. You can see what a beautiful day it is out here on the Mississippi Sound. I couldn't pass this day up. I try to get as many of them as I can in, because we have a lot of weekends, especially in the summer, when it's just so hot and the thunderstorms are so bad. But Mississippi Sound is one of the best places to sail. It's one of the most comfortable places to sail. It's flat, usually flat water. We don't have the crystal clear water that they have over in Pensacola or in Destin or in further down, but we do have a wonderful flat water area to sail. I don't know if you can see it, but you have Sand Island that way. Over past it to the left is Petty Boy Island, and then back to the west is Horn Island over in the distance. Those islands are all protected by the National Seashore Park System. There's other islands in that system. It runs both east and west, but if you can see them on the screen, well, that's exactly what it is. There's one more island over here. I've talked about it before. That's Round Island, and poor old Round Island is basically washing away. It's when I was a kid sailing in these waters in the 70s, Round Island was huge. There was once a lighthouse on Round Island. It was knocked down in Hurricane Georges back in the late 90s. The city did come out and collect the pieces a few years ago, and now she's standing proud on Highway 90 in Pascagoula, Mississippi. So that pretty much concludes the deck tour of shutter speed. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, and you just need to come out and go sailing. It's a fun sport. It gives you good exercise, and it teaches you how to take care of yourself. So again, thank you for joining me. Have a nice day.